Hello. Today I'll talk to you about the Yeti Lobster, which I think is the world's most awesome invertebrate. So, a picture right there, that's what the Yeti Lobster looks like. It looks pretty much like a Yeti, pretty accurate name. And yeah, I'll just go talk about why it's the most awesome invertebrate. So, why is it so awesome? Alright, so the biggest reason why it's so awesome is, of course, its hairs that it's got on. So these hairs are called setae, and what these hairs have is they have a sort of toxin on them, some bacteria that live on the hairs, and they nullify all sort of like poisons and toxins that come at the lobster. So I'll get to this in a later slide, more in depth, but basically is that this lobster lives in the deep sea and it likes to feed off of bacteria in hydrothermal vents. So it uses these hairs on its arms to sort of take all the bacteria that's coming off of the gases from the vents, and the bacteria on there, they use a process called chemosynthesis, and they sort of take all the good bacteria that the lobster can eat, and they leave away all the toxins and sort of throw them away. So that's really cool. Another thing that's really cool is that you might notice is that on its mouth it has a really long sort of appendage there. So that appendage has also, tiny sort of hairs on there as well, which it also uses for eating. And you might not be able to notice, but it has some very, very small eyes. And, uh, scientists haven't had much of an opportunity to research this crab, but its eyes, they think that it's blind because of its eyes don't have any pigment and they're really, really small. So we're not sure yet, but that's also one cool fact about them. All right, and some other reasons why it's the coolest invertebrate is because it was first discovered less than 15 years ago. So this invertebrate, scientists didn't even know that this invertebrate existed until I think it was 2006. So that's really cool. Another thing is just by its name, Yeti Lobster. That's just like the coolest name a lobster can have. And then I already talked about before its poison-resistant arms. It can, take in all those toxins and just throw them away. Take all the good bacteria and eat all that using chemosynthesis. Um, so yeah, that process is really cool. And another big reason is that it was in SpongeBob. So let me play this video so you can see it was in SpongeBob.
Now you try. First get a jar. Patrick, that's a
Yeti crab.
Yeah, there you go. It was in SpongeBob. All right. So that was cool.
Now you try.
Oops. Okay, I'll go to the next slide. And here's a cool video from National Geographic about some Yeti lobster like swarms that they've got going on.
Scientists have found a lost world of odd species living in waters near Antarctica, including swarms of a ghost-like crab that seem to move only sparingly. The yet unnamed new species of Yeti crab has hairy undersides similar to their brethren in warmer waters. The crabs are seen in the remotely obtained video crawling over each other near deep-sea hydrothermal vents. The mostly colorless marine animals live in utter darkness at depths of more than 7,800 feet. The find was made by a consortium of researchers who published their findings recently in the journal PLOS Biology. The male Yeti crabs are larger than females and stay closest to the vents to apparently feed on communities of bacteria on their hair-lined bellies. The females with eggs move farther away into cooler water, likely to protect embryos lining their bellies. Juveniles also are found in cooler water. One researcher says the temperature of the water near the Antarctic vents is comparable to water found in the warm tropics. Other creatures near the vents include barnacles that protrude from rocks in a spire-like fashion. One spire-covered rock was nicknamed the car wash barnacle by researchers because it looked like the spinning cylinders found in a car wash. They even spotted a colorless octopus, one of the rarest finds on the team's expedition. It's about 2 feet long and was filmed walking around on the sea floor. Black smoke or chimneys in the cold waters can spew mineral-rich water as hot as 720 degrees Fahrenheit. which warms the surrounding water to livable conditions for the newly found species.
Yeah, so as you can see, those black smoke chimney vents, they're the coolest part, is what those crabs feed off of. And what's also ironic is that the only place that they found them was on the Pacific Antarctic Ridge, like near Antarctica. But they live in the hottest waters that are available in those seas, so that's one thing I found really interesting. Um, but yeah, that's the end of my presentation on why Yeti lobsters are the coolest, most awesome invertebrate in the world. So thank you for listening to the presentation.